What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here. As always, I say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. I am the host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show. I'm also a certified empowerment coach. And most Monday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, I am humbled and honored to be joined by Danielle Boose, and we chat or host a conversation on the topic for the ladies in the house. So we're going to be doing another great conversation. She just stepped off a great conversation with a dynamite young lady who is on the move. And as one of the people already in the room said, Askia Jones, she makes the future bright, make us think the future is bright when it comes to young people. So you definitely need to check that conversation out that Danielle had earlier on. I'd like to always welcome everybody that's here. And another great conversation piece tonight with a lady on the rise. And I can always say I knew her when, and especially after this conversation, I'll be saying I knew her when. Danielle, what's going on?
You're going to know me a whole lot more than when. I'm doing okay. I'm doing well.
Good. What's been going on with yourself?
Actually, a lot has been going on. So I went and I met with Becky Davis over the weekend, and she kind of shifted my whole perspective on some things I'm doing and some ways to be more profitable. And so when we sat down and had this conversation, I was like, I got to make some hard choices. So kind of that's what we pulled together a plan to next level me in ways that I never imagined. And I just got a lot of work to do to make it happen, but I'm in for the ride.
So give us a little background on who Becky Davis is and how you met.
Okay, well, I learned about Becky Davis from Boot to Boom here on Blab. I watched her do an interview on Boot to Boom. I picked up on her spirit. I thought she was pretty cool, but I didn't know a lot. And I'm leery about trusting people when it comes to them saying they are business coaches, because we have a lot of those out there. And I wanted someone who was definitely next level from what I'm doing, so that they could come in and kind of help me. And I just been watching her and following her, and she was watching me, and we connected on Facebook, and she said she was interested in connecting with me in Atlanta. And so I went down there, and it was kind of, she invited me to come. So I was like, okay, I came, wasn't sure what to expect. Got to see her do her thing, got to see her curriculum, talk to her, hear her story, listen to the integrity in her voice. And I was intrigued, and she poured into me. She just served, not with the asking me for anything, but she just served me. So it was a powerful experience, a lot of tears, a lot of thankfulness, very grateful.
So as a result, what's happening?
So as a result, I won't be able to do the women's show on Monday evenings because I'm going to have to spend a lot of time fixing some things. I thought I was doing pretty well, but there's a way to be a little bit more profitable. And I'm if anybody knows me, they know me because I love young people. I talk about young people all the time. My nonprofit has been my heart and soul, but it has always been a challenge to maintain funding. And we are kind of like in the place now where we were like, okay, what are we going to do? And she said, there's a way to take your same model and make it for profit. And she has a friend in Chicago who is doing a similar thing, who has opened up 7 different entities and definitely making a lot of money running something that I'm doing now in a nonprofit umbrella that we can adjust, make for profit, and make it more profitable for me, and it'll allow me to do what I love and enjoy a little bit better. And so she helped me develop that plan, but that just means I got to do a lot of work to get it like it needs to go. But once I get it rolling, I think I'll be able to bless more young people on the other end than what I'm doing right now.
Excellent. Now, is this going to mean that you're going to be on Blab less?
A lot less for a while, because I really want to focus. What we do right now is curriculum based, but I have to take these curriculums and adjust them so that when I go to seek sponsors from big companies. Like she's working with Coca-Cola right now. And she was like, look, there are big companies that'll help you out. You just got to fine tune some things. And one thing I do is get everything aligned, because what she said, and I will never forget this. She said, you are a little red wagon and you need to attach to a moving train. And there are a lot of moving trains out here that will help you. And once you get it all together, you can attach to one and move a little faster. So I'm just working on getting my red wagon all together so I can connect to that moving train.
Well, as I said, I'm glad I knew you when. And should I ask for the autograph now or later?
You're gonna still know me. I don't know what you're talking about, Dr. Bot. You can't get me. Yeah.
We will see.
Around.
No problem. I want to say a big shout out to This Is Eileen, and I am humbled to know This Is Eileen from Mario Armstrong's Periscopes, which is fantastic. And then I just did my first busker tonight, and we had a great conversation on busker. I said, hey, if you have some time, jump on over and join the conversation tonight on Blab. So This Is Eileen. Thank you so much for stopping by. So as we get the last ounces of Danielle before she goes to be hanging out with Coca-Cola and the big people of the world, wow, we're gonna lay down another conversation piece tonight. And let me get some background on it. Well, as we all know, a number of weeks ago, Prince passed away, and it's interesting. As usual, everything with Prince is a mystery. We still don't know the cause of death. I've heard rumors, but I'm not going to go there. Mm-hmm. But it made me write an article called Learn These Important Life Lessons Before It's Too Late. And I also did a blab on it. And then I said, you know what? Let's touch base on Blab and find out from ladies and then also from guys. What life lessons have you not learned yet that you want to learn? So ladies, definitely jump into the chair if there's seats open. Also, if you want to comment on the side, I'd appreciate it. But Danielle, you always are good at being a catalyst, starting conversation. Is there a life lesson or two that you haven't learned yet that you'd like to learn?
I think one that I think I get, but I haven't mastered yet is just being resilient. Because I've definitely been through some things and I've come on the other side. But as I continue to go through, I have to work on staying focused on what can keep me to get to the other side. And sometimes I lose that resiliency. And that's a lesson that I would like to work on so that I don't lose it. And I can hold on to it even when I feel like, it's the end of the world. How do I grasp that and hold on to that resiliency? Another lesson that I haven't learned that I need to definitely work on is definitely relationships. I think not like relationships with just like people, but like intimate relationships and actually working on fixing whatever it is about it that makes me not want to have anything to do with it past hello and let's hang out. And after we hang out, I don't want to do anything else. Like, yeah, that's scary. So yeah, those are two things that I could say I'd want to definitely work on.
Well, it's interesting. The guest that you had on your blog is with us.
Yes.
Oh, she was with us for a second. Pardon me, for a second she jumped off. So let me get it right. There's life lessons of doing relationships better. And also, what was the first one again?
Basically just, what is the word I used? Being resilient. That was the word I used.
Okay. So how does resiliency look right now in your life?
It's teeter-tottering. And okay. The issue is really like my daughter. Like, I've been through so much stuff personally, and I know that I am a warrior and I can overcome it. But to see my daughter go through has been tearing me apart. And then her struggle with mental illness has led her to have to be placed in a facility that is expensive. Like, I'm paying every month for her to be there, and there's highs and lows to her doing well. So one day she's doing good and the next day she's not. And it's tearing me apart. And some days I'm just like, I got to get out of bed because I have these people depending on me. But I don't want to. Some days I just want to lay there, and because it's just like too much to deal with. And remembering that, no matter what I go through, I can get through is the message that I have to keep replaying in my head when I feel like, oh my God, I can't take another anything, because her episodes can sometimes be challenging. Like the episodes can be violent. Like she's gotten into fights there. She's been hurt there. And it's a tough pill to swallow as a parent, when you watch your daughter go through struggle that you didn't foresee for her. I didn't expect her 2 years ago. We didn't have these issues. So for us to cycle to this space has been really hard for me to come back from.
So when it comes to resiliency, what things are you looking at to instill in your life to get that life lesson of resiliency down pat? What things are you working on to make that where it should be?
Well, I actively wasn't doing much until recently. I think the beauty in being the kind of person to go and help other people, I have in return been helped. So when it feels like, oh, I'm so low, like I've been able to pop on here, and y'all have caught me on some days where it's been some bad days, and then y'all give me the strength to keep going. So being clear that there are people in this world who will come in and help you. So they're walking, talking angels all before me. And I just need to tap into my angels when I need them for the strength to get through, is what I really need to start doing a whole lot more of.
Okay. So when, and I'm speaking, it's going to get done, that when your resiliency is where it's supposed to be, what is your life going to look like when the resiliency piece is down pat? What does that look like?
It won't be a lesson that I have to keep relearning, because what I've learned about life is if you don't get it, you keep experiencing it until you get it. So I have dealt with so many things that I thought were things that would kill me, and I have survived. So if I survived this and I survived that, but I keep having, then there's a part of this lesson that I haven't grasped yet that I need to grasp. And then I will be on the other side of it. And so that's my hope. Like once I get to a space where I've grasped it, then I don't have to worry about these things that come along that seem like instant death. And it really isn't. It's just something that I just got to deal with to get to the other side. So that would be success.
Nice. And for the ladies that are on here, you're more than welcome to jump on. I don't want Danielle to do the majority of sharing tonight, even though it's the last time she's going to be on for a while. Would also like any one of you to jump into the conversation and make it even more better than it already is. So in the area of the relationship piece, if that was right, or let me put it this way, how much is it bothering you that it is not right? Let me put it that way.
Well, I think right in this moment, it's not bothering me a whole lot, because I don't feel I have the time and energy to even nurture a relationship right now with everything else that's happening. So it's not high priority, but it's definitely like on the list because, hey, Tiffany, I don't want to spend the rest of my life by myself, That's not going to be fun either. So I know that at some point I really need to actively start focusing on, okay, how are you going to resolve this for yourself so that you are having options to have a long-lasting, healthy relationship.
This is good. Well, a lot of good things have just happened in the last few moments. First of all, Ms. Rochelle has joined the conversation. And I can see it looks like it's a good hair day today, right?
Good hair day today.
Okay, all right.
I was out and about. I was out and about, so I had to comb my hair to go in public. Sorry.
All right, no problem. Also, this is Eileen. Picked up on what you just shared, Danielle, saying what she's speaking with me on Busker, saying that she to learn and grow and not miss the lessons. Yeah. Which is good. So, and also want to say a shout out to Di Swartz Pearl. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. There is another seat open if you want to come on in. Tiffany, what, as we say down home, what to go on?
Everything, man, everything.
Good, good. What's been going on, and what would you like to share on this conversation piece? Because I know you have something to share.
Well, I want to first say, Danielle, thank you for always being so transparent and authentic. I've seen you on several blabs, and I think this is the first time we've been on the screen at the same time. But you just being willing and able to share what's real and what's happening and the struggle. You know, I just commend you for having that courage to say that.
Thank you.
Especially as a person who helps other people, because a lot of times when we're in this position, I know that I've seen a lot of people who do what we do, and then they're dying inside, but it's because they have this idea that they got to have this smiley face on and that they have to be perfect because they're speaking to the masses. And one lesson that I have learned and mastered is I'm not dying for anybody. You know, not to keep up an appearance for you to think that I am, you know, feeling a certain way. So I think mastering the ability to be who we are without permission is a very, very, you know, it's a lifelong work. And for me, I always tell people that since I was young, God gave me a really good dose of don't give a damn.
Okay.
And it's keeps growing and, you know, getting better and better the older I get. But in the past 7 years, while I've really been the part of pursuing my purpose and walking in my calling, I've had to redevelop the don't give a damn part, because there's been times that I've either been paralyzed by analysis paralysis, because I'm like, okay, this is different, or I just am, you know, in that space of what do I do, and so I don't do anything because I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And so, you know, learning in that space to still carry the it doesn't matter, just do it. Because I think, you know, the older we get, we also come face to face with our mortality, and our fears grow. Our fears become much more pronounced, and they're not even necessarily viable fears. They just come like, I you know, I used to speed. I'm in my 40s. I'll be 45 this year. And I'm like sitting on the side looking at my husband going, honey, you're driving too fast. You know, it's just as we transition, I think mastering the transition and understanding that, you know, how to bring elements of our old self with us. Because just because we grow older doesn't mean we want to get rid of everything about who we are or everything about what we've learned. We just learn how to implement them, incorporate them, and adjust them to where we are at this stage.
Most definitely.
Ladies, you are raising the bar on the conversation, and I think, Tiffany, you may need to put earbuds in because I'm getting echoing.
Okay, me.
No problem. No problem. Just want to welcome Ahmed. How are you doing? Hope you're fine. And hope and Dominique, thank you so much for joining in. And there is an open seat if any, especially ladies, would like to jump into the conversation. And Tiffany, it's wonderful what you said, because your I don't give a damn attitude is a life lesson you learn, but you also realize, it sounded like you realize you have to balance that attitude, because if you give it all the time, it can be too much one way, correct?
Yeah, it's that. And then also what you don't give a damn about changes. You know, when, you know, again, when I was younger, it was just, okay, you don't like me, so what? Now I'm older, it's still, you don't like me, so what? But I'm in a space where I'm willing to adjust myself to a certain degree to make sure that my message is delivered, because the message that I've been given to deliver is beneficial and is needed. And it's actually, I feel it's a divine mandate. And so I can't just go around middle finger in the air, you know, and expect to do my duty. You know what I mean? So yeah, it is balancing it out and being able to say, okay, everybody's not going to like my message. everybody's not going to understand the way I speak or what I'm saying. So I still have to have a certain amount of, and that's okay, and I don't care. But I also have learned to assess a situation where I can pull myself back for the greater good of the situation or the message.
I like Di Schwartz Pro. I wish I could though sometimes. Hashtag middle finger up, middle fingers up. We need you to come on. You're rocking it in the chat room. You can come on in and share with us. So ladies, let me roll it back. If there are life lessons that you need to learn that you haven't, how do you source the solution or knowledge on getting through and getting aware and getting grounded on those life lessons? So it can be stuff that you've life lesson now and give us a process, or if there's stuff that you're wanting to learn now as a life lesson, what sort of work are you doing to get on the right side of that life lesson? Either one of you can start on that.
Well, one thing I've accepted and learned is as long as I'm living, there's going to be something that I need to learn. So once I accepted that look, I'm going to always have something that I need to master, I need to adjust, because when I stop having those lessons, then I won't be living anymore. So my work is always going to be undone until I'm done. I've accepted that. So then after accepting that, it's like, okay, so this is the issue or the struggle that I have currently. What can I do to get past this? Or am I ready to get past it? Because I was being very clear about how some days I want to lay in the bed and I don't want to get out the bed. And that's a valid feeling to have. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to beat Danielle up because I'm having a bad day. And I'm not going to walk around and pretend I'm having a good day when I'm having a bad day. So I accept it. But when it becomes a continuously bad days, every day is a bad day, then that's an issue that I need to figure out some ways to resolve. And if I can't come to people like Dr. Vibe and some of my other close friends that I come to and get the answer, then at least I'm going to continue to seek the answer and not feel that it's impossible to fix this, because nothing is impossible.
Tiffany?
Oh, I mean, she hit it right on the head. First of all, we're perpetual students. Mm-hmm. Everyone is my teacher. From my dog, who I fight with every day, to the 3-year-old child, to the 100-year-old man or woman. And once we are willing to be in that space, then life unfolds in a different way. I've spoken several times, and I tell people, if you ever get to the point where you feel like you've learned everything, where every lesson has been taught to you, you've learned all the learning you're going to do, I said, then you can die. Because pretty much, the purpose of our life is to learn. And I think in learning these lessons, a skill or a tool is one, remember that everything is a lesson, but then also learning how to flow in the lesson. Yeah. Learning how to flow in the lesson. And what we'll notice is that just because we have started to master it, it doesn't mean that the things that happen within a lesson go away. It just means that we're able to recuperate from it a whole lot quicker. Sometimes things that would happen and take us out for a month, next thing you know, they only take us out for a week, then they only take us out for a day, and then we got 20 minutes dedicated to this problem. And then learning to decipher and learning when to rest into a lesson. Those are the things that I've really, really been learning in this season of my life, because there's a lot of lessons. And also understanding that if we're able to view every lesson as for our good, it takes the bite out of it. It really does. Because I don't think that I've had any bad lessons in my life. I've had every lesson that I've had has been for my betterment. It's been for my education. It's been for me to make better decisions in the future. So it's all good. It really is all good. And if we can look at things instead of going, why this happened to me? I don't understand. Why does this keep happening? when we look and say, okay, I learned this lesson. What did I learn? What was my contribution to this? And then,
Okay.
learning how to flow through it. Definitely.
Okay, I'm not gonna let this gentleman know. Hold on here. Let me just do something here. All right. So, continuing on our conversation, and I'm keeping up on the side because the sidebar conversation is beginning to rock it up. And Ahmed, uh, Di Schwartz Pearl. If she does not come on tonight, it's not good because she just dropping knowledge, saying if you don't learn the lesson, you'll be taught it in a different way until you learn it.
Mm-hmm.
And Ahmed Hazel says yes, absolutely. Ahmed also said everything and everyone is my teacher. And I love what Van Seeger said. You can't spell learn without earn. That's why it's so challenging. That's knowledge. And Di Schwartz Pearl again says hashtag bounce back with a smiley face. That's good. That is really, yeah. You need to come in. You need to come in. Want to just say a shout out to Cool Tech TV. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. Dominique is back. She's having some technical challenges, but I'm trying to help her out with that. So what I'm going to do, ladies, I'm going to list some life lessons, and you tell me, and the audience tell me, if you've learned them. It's 3 a.m. where you're at. Where are you where it's 3 a.m.? It's got to be like somewhere across the ocean. So tell us where you're at. Germany. Thank you so much for tuning in there. So much. Just because it's 3 a.m., you're on your computer, so that's no excuse. Just joking. So I'm going to hand out. I'm going to use some of the life lessons that I've given in my article. And if people either ladies want to join in by comments on the side, or if you want to take a seat. And if you hear fireworks in the background, it's a long weekend here in Canada, so people are celebrating with firecrackers. That's not celebrations that I'm on Blab. No, far from it. So here's the first life lesson. I want these ladies to tell me if they've got it down pat. It's impossible to please everyone.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Get it out.
and people, those on the side room, on the chat, whether male or female, tell us if you've figured that one out or you've got that life lesson down pat. So certainly put comments in. Danielle and Tiffany, how did you learn that life lesson? Do you remember how you learned it?
Yeah, by being in pain and hurt all the time for trying to please everybody. And then it went from not trying to please everybody, but try to please the people who mean the most to me. And that was the hardest shift. To accept that the people who mean the most to me, who love me the most, aren't going to always be happy with everything I do. Mm-hmm. And that was the hardest lesson. And it took the most years to resolve that about myself. People who didn't mean me well or didn't care much about me, it got easier to be like, oh, well, you're just not going to be happy. But like when grandmama not happy with something that Danielle does, that can break me apart. And so trying to accept the fact that sometimes what my vision is and my what I'm supposed to do in my life is not going to always be what she sees from me, and I have to accept that and keep it moving.
Mm-hmm. For me, mine was from family as well, and I would say I was probably actually 13 or 14, and I learned it through my relationship with my mother, because my mother is an amazing woman. Let me start there. Like, she raised me well. She's a huge part of why I feel I'm such a phenomenal woman. However, my mother had very controlling tendencies, and she liked things done her way, and she's pretty pessimistic. But I also understand that was because of her experiences at a young age where, if anything could go wrong, that was her. So at 13 or 14, I realized by the nature of our relationship that she just wasn't going to be happy because that was her. Like, I could clean up the whole house and she would see the one piece of paper on the floor. And I don't know how. I always say it was a blessing from God that I didn't take on that burden of starting to try to please my mother and spending a lifetime of trying to please her. I just got that lesson in that time, like, this is her, this isn't me, and it's not going to happen. And so I think that, like you said, Danielle, when you get to a place where you're not trying to please the people that are closest to you and the people that love you, then everybody else is kind of gravy.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Really nice. Nice. Folks, again, loving the conversation on the side. Thank you, S. Rahim, for joining the conversation. And Di Schwartz Pearl. She's a Jamaican. So her parents are Jamaican and she was born in America, but she's living in Germany. Go figure. That is quite the cross. That is very cool. So here's another life lesson I want the ladies to comment on. And people on the side, come on in again. We still have a seat open.
I feel like we should have a buzzer.
Bam.
Right.
Here's another life lesson. The older you become, the more important your health will be to you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize that life lesson?
Almost definitely.
And I just want to add to that, for many of us, health is only important when our health is failing.
Yeah.
And you should, after you get a few aches and pains, you'll start to realize that your body will eventually fail you. So ladies, what do you have to say about that life lesson? The older you become, the more important your health will be to you.
I'll start. It's most definitely true. I'm in my mid-40s, and when I was younger, I ate well and I worked out, and there were certain things I didn't do, but it wasn't as intentional as it is now. Like, when you're young and you're super healthy, it was just kind of like, okay, no, I don't want to eat that. And I'm going to exercise because, that's what I do. And I don't want to get fat. But now I exercise not to lose weight, but to keep my bones moving and to keep my body, at a certain level of movement and ability. And I eat a lot of the same things that I ate before, but now I have to be more careful because maybe this one will give me gas or this one will make me sick or this, like, it's true. This is really, honest talk. So yeah, you get more intentional about the things that you're doing because you also understand that the things that work for you younger can now have an adverse effect on you. So I know for me personally, I monitor what I eat and the way I intake much more intentionally than I did when I was younger.
Danielle.
Well, I almost died, and that was kind of my wake up. So I didn't make really good decisions about eating. I was pretty active as a young person, but I would eat whatever I wanted to eat. Lots of fried food, lots of unhealthy stuff, and I didn't take good care of my body in my 20s because I didn't feel the need to have to. I wasn't big and overweight because I was active. So it wasn't like you could look at me and say, oh my gosh, like she's really eating and she's not taking care of herself, because I didn't look that way. But I didn't perceive to have an issue with health until I had a massive heart attack and almost died. And that was my wake up call. I was 29 when I had it, and hadn't even reached the lovely age of the 30s yet, and I almost died. So stress and some other things played a part there, but it became clear after that health had to be primary, because if I didn't take care of myself, I wouldn't be here. And I just had to do it. And I'm not mastered that skill all the time, but I'm much better. I think about the food that I eat. I think about the stress level. I meditate. I've added some things to my life to help make it a better experience. And I take that on with me every day of my life now.
Excellent. And yeah, for those who don't know Danielle's story, as she shared, she had a heart attack at 29 years old. 29. So I know that she values the whole thing about the more important her health has become to her. Just want to shout out to Moto JT. What is up? I hope everything is good with you. Just for the guys who are on this conversation, I'll be repeating the same conversation for men tomorrow night. So this is your warm-up. You're getting the warm-up tonight, guys. I always believe in doing the ladies first. Tomorrow night it'll be for the guys starting at 8:30. But ladies, that doesn't stop you checking in and see how serious the guys are about achieving their life lessons. Want to shout out to Sherry at KOM Works. Thanks for jumping in. So next up.
I want to add one caveat to health, though, because we were talking about eating and exercise, but I want to talk about emotional health, too.
Yes.
It's very important as you're getting older that you're monitoring your emotional health and your mental health. We spend a lot of time focused on what we're eating and exercising, but just as important is our emotional and our mental health. As we age and get older, you want to be making sure you're checking those, too. So, yep, that's it.
And I think for some also, depending how deep you are, also spiritual health.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, all of that. It's
go ahead, Tiffany.
It's all, this is all my wheelhouse. Because I work with women on, one, creating an overall life that is joyous and happy. But my approach to it is about getting the core part of us right. Understanding the mind, body, and spirit is one. It's not separate things that you can just fix this one and leave that one alone. Everything has to work together because it is connected. It does work together. And so you can diet all day long, but if your mind isn't right, you're not going to lose weight. And if you're not addressing why, we're overeating, then it's not healthy. If we have stress, which is more dangerous than food most of the time, then, these are the things that we need to pay attention to. And I know for me, my spiritual life became important. Even though I was raised very religious, religion didn't ever take a hold of me. Spirituality did. Because that was when I started to seek out my source. Like, why am I here? What am I doing here? What do I need from you? What do you need from me? Like, asking the questions, and then things started to be revealed. So yes, spirituality is definitely important for all the other aspects of our health to flourish.
Wonderful. Just want to shout out to Eva Laura. How are you? Hope you're doing fine. And just a little plug, if people haven't caught it, catch out Boop to Boom tomorrow night at 10 p.m.
Hi, Eva Laura. How are you? I love her laugh. She has the best laugh in the world.
Oh, that's what I said to her the first time I had a chance to meet her via blog. I said, that laugh and those crowns have to be marketed. She's already done the crowns piece. Now just got to get the laugh marketed some way, somehow. So welcome, Eva Laura. Thanks for stopping by. And also to the ladies in the house, you are more than welcome to jump in a seat if you would like. And I know that there's some gentlemen watching. And as I said, it's going to be the gentleman's turn tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Next life lesson to see if the ladies have mastered it, whether you're live or on the side. There are only so many tomorrows. We put off everything until tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday next year. Time is passing by. You don't know how many more tomorrows you're going to get. Get busy and make the most of them. And I will add on to that one of the lessons that I learned was said by someone who's on my show regularly a number of years ago. He said, time never lost a fight.
Mm-hmm.
So, ladies, what do you have to say about the life lesson? There are only so many tomorrows.
Well, it became very clear to me when I didn't think I was going to have any more tomorrows, and so I look at life differently going forward. I can't say that it's consistent. Like every day I wake up, I think, oh, this could be the end. I don't really think like that. But I want to make each day useful, and some days are more useful than others. So I don't want to spend a bunch of days not doing what I'm purposed to do. And I keep that in my mind. Like when I get up, I'm like thinking about my day. And did I use this day effectively? Did I get done what I need to get done? Because if I don't, I might not have an opportunity to do it tomorrow. So I think about that in the work that I do. And I make sure that I'm not just doing stuff that is just busy work, but I'm doing stuff that's life-changing for someone else, because that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So I just try to sit in that every day I wake up and not waste time, because time is precious.
Tiffany.
I saw Dice Swartz Pearls, but does it take something tragic? And for me, I've never had a health issue. However, I feel that having children
Mhm.
speeds up your view of your mortality, because as they grow and they get to a certain point, I have two 20-plus-year-olds. And so as I watch them navigate in the world, it becomes, my mortality becomes more apparent. And like you, Danielle, I'm not spending the days going, oh my goodness, I could die. But especially with the things that are happening in the world on a daily basis, we can't help but take, note of what it is. And then also when we're walking in our purpose, when we are doing things to impact the planet, to impact our community, I think it also gives us a quickening and urgency, because we don't know when tomorrow is coming for us or if it's coming for us. So it's like, okay, let me do what I need to do and get as much done as I can, and then be prepared. I don't want to go without having done all that I could.
Nice. Just want, before I follow up on that, Moto JT, great take, saying, I love Danielle Boose reminding us of caring for emotional health as well. We often ignore that idea. We only have so much energy each day. We should spread it equally to our emotional, spiritual, mental, and physical selves, aka well balanced. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let me ask about the so many tomorrows piece. It's interesting how both, Tiffany, how you said, raising 20-year-olds, it's made you really realize about there's so many tomorrows.
Well,
Can you give us a little bit more on that? I found that very interesting.
well, definitely. I think for most parents, our kids become our Achilles heel. And for a while when they were younger, one of my biggest fears was that I wouldn't be around to help them grow. Because I had been around people who had lost their mother young, or something had happened and they lost a parent. And that was something I was like, oh my God, I wouldn't want to do that to my kids. And I used to think about preparing for my death and leaving them videos, but I was like, no, I can't be in there with that, that morbid thought. So I just lived. But as they left my house and I could no longer just touch them and I can't tell them what to do, I can't bring them inside and put them on punishment and not let them go out with their friends. My oldest son lives in Spain and he's traveled the world since he was 17. No, 15. He plays soccer. So he's going for World Cup and for a major league soccer team. I I mean, I had to let go, but also realize that his tomorrow could come and I don't know it. My tomorrow could come and I had to be at peace with it so that I could live. Like, for me, it was about living in the now so that I wasn't worrying about what if tomorrow doesn't come.
Okay. Good stuff. Next, and I'm surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed that no lady has come in and taken a seat. But that's okay. That's all right. But I'd love a lady to come in and take a seat. Like, Durham Skywriter, I was counting on you. But that's all right. That's okay. Next conversation piece. Apologize quickly. Life is too short for petty disagreements and grudges. Be the bigger person and apologize. So have you ladies mastered that life
Almost
lesson?
levels. I think there's still one individual in this world who I'm not quick to apologize to, because I'm her bigger sister by 5 minutes. Talking about my twin sister. Me and her have been at it for many years, with the apology. So we can be very stubborn individuals when it comes to each other, but we typically are pretty good with apologizing to other people. So we're working on it. We're still a work in progress. Yeah.
All right.
Um,
Tiffany?
yeah, definitely. Um, when I was younger, I didn't like to apologize. So I would make sure that whatever I said, I could prove beyond a shadow of a doubt I was right. And so with that, sometimes I was arrogant. And sometimes I was pushy because I was like, I can prove it. Now what? Because I didn't want to apologize. But, going through, hi, Eva Laura, going through life, aging, maturing, and now walking in, a calling where I'm called to help people to understand how to forgive. I can't very well be teaching and preaching forgiveness as a way of healing if I can't do it myself. So I say I'm sorry as quickly as I can, because I also understand that saying I'm sorry doesn't indicate right or wrong. And it means, hey, I'm sorry that you had this experience, or that I caused this experience, or that I was mistaken, or whatever it is. I'm sorry. I think it's harder to apologize and say that when you're thinking about right or wrong.
Well, we are blessed and highly favored to have Miss Crowns on the line with us. And you know what's even better? She came on with her laugh.
No, because you were so funny.
Best.
Your reaction, I can help it.
But
I'm good. How are you
doing? I am blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. I am Jack because I have 3
You kept
powerhouse
calling us out. I was like, I can't sit here, and he continually calling out the ladies. So let me at least come on for a minute.
Yeah.
All these women here, like, what's going on?
I was gonna call you out next if you didn't come. I was calling for you next.
I felt it coming. I felt the warm up, so I was like, let me just beat them to it.
So, and Eva Laura, you're a coach, and I know that this area comes up a lot with you, with your clients, about life lessons. Can you share some of your insight on some of the life lessons that your lady clients come to you that they want to achieve?
Wow.
If you come on, I'm gonna ask like questions.
Yeah, because it depends on what aspect of their life we're talking about. And I would say probably one of the things that I see across the board, no matter if they come to me about questions in their business, about their relationships, about their relationship with themselves, or even their own personal journey, their purpose. I would say one of the biggest things that I see, and I talk about this all the time, is the importance of healthy boundaries. Mm-hmm. I talk about that endlessly. I can't talk about it enough because it shows up in every aspect of your life. If you don't have good personal boundaries, it's going to show up in your business. It's going to show up in your relationships, and it's going to show up in ways that you didn't even realize that was a boundaries problem. So boundaries, I would say, is huge. And then the other thing that I would say, and it's somewhat related to boundaries, is not mastering your feelings. So not understanding that your feelings are your power, and that when you suppress your feelings, when you deny them, when you repress them, then you're denying your power. And a lot of women, they might hear it and they might say, yeah, but they don't really get that. They don't understand it. We're still in this mindset of, well, I can't do this right now. I just need to keep going. Mm-hmm. I don't have time for that. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm feeling some kind of way. Mm-hmm. Well, what are you feeling? And have you actually figured out what that feeling means, what that feeling is telling you? And then have you taken the time to release the feeling so that it's no longer harming you and coming up in your relationships in ways that you don't even realize?
Now, I'm not going to let you go now because I want, because you just dropped 2 knowledge bombs there. So I want you to expand. Why are boundaries such an issue with your lady clients? What do you feel the root causes of that are? We
have never been shown how to have proper boundaries with somebody. If you look at your family, dysfunction is carried through the generations. Mm-hmm. And so you do things the way your mama did it. Your mama does things the same way your grandmama did it, and so on and so forth. And so it's a lot of programming. And what happens is we never kind of stop and just say, you know what? Did that ever really work for my mother? And maybe I need to do it a little bit differently. We just kind of go into reaction mode. We just kind of do the same things that were modeled for us. And it's only until, you know, catastrophe happens, you end up getting sick, or you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, or you finally realizing that what you're doing is not working. You have some kind of breakdown, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, that you finally say, you know what? Enough is enough. This isn't working. I think I need to change something.
Can I add to that?
Absolutely.
Yes, like everything is right on point. Like working with women, this comes up over and over again. And the other part that going along with what Evalora said about boundaries is we start from a young age when we tell our kids that they have to hug people, that they have to be nice to people in a certain way, and we negate their feelings in the name of manners, and then it carries on into adulthood where we don't know how to say no because we want to be nice. Do you know, if you could know the number of women who've been assaulted or who have been fallen victim to crime because they didn't want to be impolite in a moment where being impolite and saying no or putting a boundary up could have saved them that victimization. But it's because, like I said, we're taught from an early age not to say no, not to ruffle feathers, not to be rude, not to be mean. And in fact, it is negating our personal intuition, our personal feelings. And that's one of the things, like, you know, that I work with women through is, you know, tapping into intuition and trusting it. And if your gut says no, don't do it. And then also teaching our daughters that it's okay. If you don't want to hug Uncle George and you don't want to kiss Aunt Bonnie, don't. I'm not going to make you. And they can't say anything to make me make you. So those are the kind of things.
Yeah. To your point, it actually reminds me of a story Gabrielle Union told on, I think she was on Oprah. And she was talking about when she used to work in a mall, and I can't remember, you know, where she was, but she worked at a store in a mall, obviously before she became the Gabrielle Union. And a man came in, and her intuition, her gut was like, this isn't right. And it was like time for her to close up the store. But she didn't want to be mean. She didn't want to be rude. So she let the guy in. And the guy ended up raping her. And you know, we do those things every single day. Not that dramatic where it results in rape. But it does result in us denying our feelings. It does result in us not being heard. It does result in us not being seen. It does result in us not feeling validated. It does result in us not feeling like we have genuine connections with people, because if I always have to be nice, if I can't say no, if I can't say what I really want, we don't really have a connection. We're not really intimate. You don't really know me. You know my representative. You know what I've been taught and what I've been told that I have to present to the world, but you don't know who I am. And so then you get in a relationship with me and you're like, what's wrong with her? This is who I always was, but I didn't show that to you. And so now there's a disconnect, there's a mismatch, because you don't really even know who I am. And then you get to know the real me and you don't like me. And then I don't like me because you don't like me.
It's a cycle.
I'm telling you, anyone who's watching this live or on replay, knowledge dropping is going on. Knowledge dropping. Knowledge bombs are being dropped from the B-52s here. These ladies are just dropping all over. I want to get a little bit of expansion, because Dice Schwartz Pearl said, but how do we exercise listening to our gut? And I know that Tiffany, you had responded. You can say your response, but I also want Evalora and Danielle to address that conversation piece. How do we exercise listening to our gut?
The experience is that we always get a feeling. We always feel something. Our body is always talking. Energy is always moving. So there's always something being said, even when our mouth isn't moving. And so one of the first steps is to acknowledge the feeling and not just push it away or swat it, you know, because it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for a reason. So when we get a feeling, acknowledge it and then start to investigate, why am I feeling this way? What is triggering this feeling? And then that's like how you start to learn to listen to your intuition. And then there's other things to do, but that's like kind of the initial stage.
Yeah, that's a great step. And I always, teach that when I'm talking to my clients about feelings mastery. That is one of the first steps, is simply, not judging the feeling. Well, I'm not supposed to be angry, so this can't be anger. No, it's anger, and you have every right to be angry. Now, why are you angry? So she's absolutely right. Identifying the feeling. I'm going to add to that, not judging it, and then really look at what is that feeling telling you? What is the lesson? Because understanding that every single feeling carries a lesson. We have ego and we have spirit. And our ego speaks through us, through our thinking, through our mind, our thoughts. And we tune into ego all day long. We are in our thoughts all day long. But most of us don't know how to tune into spirit. And spirit speaks through us, through our feelings, through our intuition. And most of us push aside the feelings and go to our thoughts. So that, acknowledgement is absolutely necessary. And then, of course, one of the things that I teach, a valuable tool and really tapping into your feelings, tapping into your spirit, of course, is meditation. It's quieting the thoughts so you can hear everything else that's going on when your thoughts are not yapping away. So calming those thoughts down so you can really tune to your spirit.
Danielle, I know you're a host, so you can certainly add in, because they're dropping the knowledge bombs. Tiffany and Ava are dropping knowledge bombs.
Well,
Anything you want to add?
They tapped into all the important things in order to listen to it. I think for me personally, when I don't listen to my gut, I typically am taking the long path, because if I would have just listened to my initial instincts and just did what I needed to do, then it makes it a little bit easier for me in life. So my lesson is, because of missed opportunities to listen to myself has caused a lot of havoc and pain and heartache. So I listen to it more than not because of that. So that would be my 2 cents. And then if you don't know how to tap into it, reach out to people like these ladies who know how to do that, and learn the skill set from people who know how. That's my advice.
There you go. And if you don't want to reach out to ladies, you can reach out to me too. But the ladies, they're good. They're good in my book, so no worries. How much does everyone have a little bit more time? Because I want to cover some more life lessons. And Ava Laura, if you can, I'd love you to stay on and give your thought process also. Sure. If you have a few minutes. Thank you. So another life lesson: you can change. Now, I know you ladies are great examples of change, but did you always have that life lesson down pat? Or did it take time to realize that you could change? And do you ever encounter, like Ava Laura in your practice, ladies that have not mastered the ability to change?
Well, yeah, I definitely struggled with it in my childhood. And I work with young people who are currently struggling with change and thinking that because my mother was, I will be. And because my family was, I will be. And helping them to see that whatever they were, that doesn't have to be your story. And you can change the story, and you're equipped to change the story. You just have to accept that you don't have to be those things. But it was a process for me, a learning process. I had to go through all of my changes to get to a space where I felt that I was good enough. And I deserved more, and I was valuable enough, and that I had something to offer. And once I realized all those things, then change slowly happened, slowly but surely.
And it takes time. Tiffany, Ava Laura?
I think for me personally, a lot of my life was just automatic, and I didn't understand those things until I started seeking understanding. And that's a key for anybody looking to change. We have to be in a space of openness and willingness to receive it, or a space of discovery. Like, I started looking at things, and then I realized that a lot of the way I lived my life was the way The Secret was, or the way these other things was, but I didn't have a clear understanding until I started to look for understanding, until I started to look for what was happening. And, the older I get, the more powerful I understand that the spirit is, the more powerful I understand that the mind is, that we can manifest, and we are actually authoring our reality. So just diving into that world of quantum life, you start to understand change on a whole different level. And I think there's a book I have, Change or Die. And it really is important for us, to change. And I've seen firsthand what life looks like for people who are unwilling to do so. And it's almost always misery, disappointment, upset, and victimization.
Wow, that was a powerful statement. Wow. Can you repeat those three things again? That was big. Repeat those again.
That people who are unwilling to change usually experience life as misery, upset, disappointment, and victimization.
Wow, that is great. Before Eva Laura adds on, I just want to shout out to Ria_design. Thanks so much for stopping by. Also, thanks stopping by Razim. I hope I get it right. Please, if I don't, please apologize. Happy work week. Thank you so much for stopping by. And the big dreamer is in the house. The big tomorrow night. It's the mid version, so I'm counting for you to be on for 8:30.
Hey, Greg.
Eva Laura, how in regards to the change area with ladies that you have coached, how significant of a life lesson is it for them?
Yeah, I wanted to speak to that personally first, because I think your first question was about have we always been able to change, or and it's interesting. What I find is that there are certain areas where it's easy for you to change, right? Just depending on who you are, what your experiences are in life, and so on and so forth. So it might be easy for me to say, okay, I'm going to wake up earlier and go to bed, earlier kind of thing. But it might be hard. I'm going to exercise and actually stick to it. And so one of the things that I've learned is that sometimes when it's easy for you to change an area, you kind of feel like you don't need to change somewhere else. Like, well, I did this already, so why do I need to do that? And so you kind of see, ego come up in those little, sort of tricky, subtle areas. And so we're willing to let go of some things, but the things that we really need to let go of and the things that we really need to change, that's what we're like, oh, heck no, I'm not changing that. I'm not doing that. And so, those are the things that I've noticed personally within myself. And then I've also recognized with my clients. And that's why I know, just for me, even personally, like the work that I do is so powerful, because I had to have other people to see into me to say, Ava Laura, this is what you not changing this behavior, not changing this habit is creating in your life. Because I couldn't see that for myself. I was too attached to the habit. And it was only when somebody could really point it out for me and say, this is what you're doing and this is what is creating, then I was able to see it in a different way and say, oh, you know what, you're right. Because I've been telling my own story all these years, justifying it, and oh yeah, that kind of hurts. I don't like that.
Well, what's interesting, one of the questions I ask coaching clients when they're trying to overcome something is, okay, this is the current situation now. What is life going to look like if you don't change it? And I love the commentary. Healer Eva Laura, stop reading my diary. That's classic. But I think that's a very key thing when it comes to change, that if we all are doing things not right, but what is our life going to look like if we don't change that?
But again, somebody has to point out what it's creating.
Mm-hmm.
Because that becomes the motivation to change, because change isn't easy. And again, like I said, if it's something that you're really attached to, if it's something that's so a part of you that you didn't even question it because it's just a part of, that's who I am, right? That's my identity. That's how people know me. Then your ego comes into play with it. You're attached to it. So it makes it that much harder for you to let it go. So you really got to see, okay, this is what you say, this is who you say you are, but this is also what is creating. So is what you're creating in alignment with who you say you are.
You know, and it's interesting. One of the coaching pieces I especially use with men or guys, and guys are tomorrow night, is a lot of men want to be warriors. But sometimes when a warrior goes through a battle, it isn't as good as when he started the battle. So it can cause more mess.
Absolutely.
And as Greg Inspire says, change is easy. It's the process that takes time. Well said. Well said. Just want to shout out to a few more people that have joined the conversation at Tuzami_Nguyen. Also want to shout out to at Kathy Crowley 8. Also want to shout out to at Gold Rush Card. Thanks so much for stopping by. The seats are full right now, but the commentary is always open. These ladies are rocking the house. Next conversation piece. I'll combine this. Television and social media will steal your life.
If you let it.
So have you ladies learned that life lesson?
Yeah. I'm not letting anything steal my life. What does that mean?
No, but I'm not saying it of you. I'm
not saying can get a boom over there. Boom. Let's hit the boom. Boom.
Yes, boom. Laura. All right. No, but some people will. Some ladies will let that steal their lives. Like, we know people out there that their best friend is their television.
Yeah.
I know that you ladies have learned that life lesson, but do you want to speak to that for some of the ladies that may not know that life lesson out there?
Well, they all on Blab, so I know they know it.
I would like,
yes.
We could be watching TV right now.
You know, the funny thing is, I'm with Ava Laura. Like, nothing can steal your life. You can give it away.
Yeah,
you can definitely give it away. And a lot of times when, like, as you say, a woman's television is her best friend, it's covering up fear. It's covering up rejection and disappointment. TV doesn't let you down. It's going to come up every day with some garbage for you to watch and to occupy your mind and your time. In my house, I don't watch TV. Like, I have a couple of shows that I watch, but I don't have a TV subscription. I have a box, so I literally have no commercials. I have to go on TV and I have to say, I want to watch this show. And then when this show is over, it cuts off. Like, I don't, I can't have it. And there might be 4 shows that I watch, but the most of the time I'm spending reading, working with clients, planning something to go out. So we get to prioritize and choose what we want to give our life to. And if we're choosing to give our life to our purpose, then no, TV and social media can't, we can't. That's avoidance tools.
Ava, Laura, or Danielle want to add anything to that?
I mean, I actually do like TV. I don't think that TV is the devil like some people will, but I do. I have, specific shows that I watch as well. I'm a big movie buff, so I love movies. So if you get me on a lazy Sunday, I can sit and watch movies all day. I have no shame. But for me, it is very much, maybe that is just my set time to relax. And I always look at it as like, what am I learning? Because I'm a learner. Like, I like to learn from everything. So I don't care what I'm watching, even if it's Ratchet, Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm learning how other people function, and I don't know anything about that. And then I get to use those analogies on my clients because they're watching it too. And so they know exactly what I'm talking about. So I kind of go in with that philosophy. Like if I'm going to be a part of it or participate in it, it's for a reason. I'm not just there watching it. Right. I'm not allowing it to consume me. So it's kind of like I'm using you, you're not using me. That's why when you said steal my life, I'm like, it can't steal my life. You can't. I would never give anything the power to do that. And I think that when you go in with that, with that mindset, you are playing a victim. So, I look at it like that point. Now, the social media, this is what I will say, and this is what I've seen, and I say it over and over again. Twitter, Facebook, heck, Blab now, Periscope, Facebook Live, all of these things. Social media is not your diary. It is not your journal. It is not your therapist. It is not your life coach. We do not need to know all of your business. That's what I see. We don't need to know all of your stuff. So if you're on it, you should be strategic as to what it is that you're talking about. What are you putting out in the world? How do you want people to see you?
Danielle, anything you want to add after that?
I think she's a valid point. I use social media, and I share more of myself than many do, but it's always strategy behind it. And I use myself to help young people specifically, because I want young people to have the ability to be open. Like the individual I interviewed tonight, her name is Ayanna Bates, and she's 19, and she's struggling with some issues, but she's overcoming through sharing her story. And so I like to be the example to say, you're going through, and you can help other people get through by sharing your story, but be effective in the way you share it and pay attention to how you are sharing of yourself. So just like she said, strategy is very important. I did want to touch for young people in social media and TV. Some of them don't understand that it's entertainment. And that's the tough part. When we reach typically our age, everybody in this room is older. Okay. So we kind of know it's entertainment. You should know it's entertainment. If you don't know, it's entertainment. But anyway, young people look at it and think that that's reality, that people actually are doing these things, experiencing these things. And I have young people who will go and look on my Instagram page and be like, you got 10,000 followers, you're famous. No, boo, I'm not famous. Okay, I just use social media for a specific way. But if we don't spell it out for young people, they can look at this false reality and believe that, well, my life isn't good enough, or my story isn't good enough, or I'm not good enough from the messages that they're receiving. So if we are encountering young people, it's important to think about the images that they're listening to, that they're hearing, that they're receiving from social media, and that we're doing our part to make sure it's clear that it's entertainment. Because we might know, I can watch this ratchet show and not take it seriously, but a 15-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old is looking at that same show and like, well, I need to show my breasts and I need to act crazy to get attention so I can be popular like these people. So when I think of social media and TV, I'm always thinking about how do I educate people to see that it's entertainment, and what can we do to improve it for someone growing up who might feel like, well, I can't be famous unless I'm a basketball player, or I can't be famous unless I'm a rapper, and I have to do this to reach whatever peak. So when I think about it, I just think about it in the frame of young people and how to help them get through.
Good stuff, ladies. I'm going to try and catch up on some of the comments here because you just been dropping knowledge bombs. Greg inspires. I teach others to love them some than you. Also, Kate Hollins, 10. People and things can be a leech or a light in your life. TV and the media in general does impact you mentally. If you aren't careful, we must protect our minds or the soul could get lost. Di Schwartz Pearl. I really don't think parents can deal with all of the changes in technology, and it's really too late at this point. It's about installing values when they are young. Candy Crowley 8. I was thinking of joining a 6-month training to be a life coach with a. That's another subject. I can wait. That's another. Myself and Eva Laura.
I'm gonna say I paid a lot more than that. So.
And I will say I paid a
more.
lot less than that. I paid a lot less than that. But Kathy Crowley, if you follow me on Twitter, we can have a dialogue on that. I paid less than half that. So I'll just leave it at that. So let's continue on with the conversation piece. Another life lesson. Do you ladies know this? Have mastered this one. You'll regret the things you didn't do more than the things that you did.
Could you repeat that, please?
You'll regret the things you didn't do more than the things that you did. So if you mastered that life lesson, that basically if you're working on a bucket list, or you're making sure that whatever you want to achieve, you're either doing it or have a plan. Exactly. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. So are you past the point now saying you're looking on getting things done, then having regrets about things you haven't done?
I don't live in shoulda, woulda, coulda anymore. I
Okay,
definitely have a list, but what I've learned in my life is even my list isn't big enough. So what I have decided that I want to do isn't even big enough. So like the opportunities have gotten huge compared to the thought that I had for myself. And I'm working to just next level it at all cost. Just keep going. But I didn't always think that way. No.
Okay. Tiffany Valora?
For me, I've never lived with regrets. I don't believe in regrets. I believe in lessons and opportunities. So if anything happened, it was something to learn from. And I'm pretty much like, I won't do it again. But I just believe regrets in and of themselves open us up for guilt and shame and other, negative ideas that come with it. And so looking for is opportunities. If I haven't done it yet, I'm still living. I have a chance. I can do the things that I want to do. And so far, I've done everything that I want to do. And so for people who haven't, I just encourage them, get started, get moving. Like we said at the beginning of the show, tomorrow's not promised. So just reframing that thought process and, being in the now and saying, okay, what's my opportunity and what's my lesson?
Nice.
Yeah, I almost feel like that question kind of goes back to when we were talking about change. Because if you understand that at any moment you can make a decision and you can change your life, then you don't live thinking, oh, I wish I should have done this, or I should have done that, or I regret the things that I didn't do versus the things that I did do. You just don't even, that's why when you asked that question, I had to sit here and actually like ponder it and think about it, because I don't even think like that. So there are goals that I have, some I reach, some I don't. But ultimately what happens is I kind of look at, okay, I didn't reach this particular goal. Is this something that I really want? Because the truth is, like, something that I really, really want, I'm gonna make it happen. Yeah. So a lot of times if I have it on my list and I haven't, it might not even be in alignment with who I am. Or it could just be that it's gonna take a lot longer, than I thought it was gonna take. One or the other. But a lot of times it's I don't even really want it. Maybe somebody else said that I should do it. Or, maybe I'm looking at somebody else and I'm comparing myself to them, and well, they did that, so I need to do it too. So I don't live in that space of I wish I had done this or wish I had done that. I probably, now if anything, I might regret some things that I've done, like, what the hell were you thinking, Ava Laura? Why'd you do that? But not the things that I didn't do. Those crazy things that, yes, they did teach me a valuable lesson, but in the moment, no, it was like, what the hell were you thinking? That was stupid.
Well, one of the things that I can say for each one of you, and I've been blessed to know you a little bit more through Bob, is that you are much more courageous now than when I first met you. And that I know that you have that mindset that whatever you need to get done, you're going to get it done. I know that, each one of you, I know that. You've proven it to me. Now, not necessarily you started out that way, but I know you're there now. So I like to say I compliment you each one of you, and I say thank you for being the ladies that you are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. No, it's great. We'll do one or two more, then we will get it out, because I didn't expect this would be on so long, but it's been a great conversation. Let me do this one. Here's one that's interesting that I put out there. Your level of success will matter less at the end of your life. Now, you're not there yet, but is success as important to you now as it was a few years ago?
Yes. And I think it's going to be important to me at the end too, because of the way I define success.
Okay, what is your definition of success?
Serving more people. So at the end, I'm going to always want to continue to serve more. I think I'm going to go out wishing I could have got some more. But I'm like, God, okay, you gave me my number. I made it happen. It's time to go to the other side. But I could have took about 2 or 3 more, maybe.
Tiffany.
I'm with Danielle. You know, based on success, our definition of success, because again, it's about who we serve and how we serve, and if we walked in our calling and our purpose. For me, so yes, now actually success is more important to me at this stage than it was when I was younger, because I have my marching papers, I have my orders, so I got stuff to do.
Good stuff.
I mean,
Eva-Laura?
my Facebook group is called Super Soul Success. So, I mean,
there's the answer.
I'm really a success-minded person. I mean, that is what motivates me. I can't say that it's always been that way. Definitely, as a child or as a teenager, I mean, you're not necessarily thinking on that level. Although I will say I've always wanted to make an impact. Always been clear about that. But it's certainly, my definition of success has certainly changed with time, for sure. Even on a daily basis. I mean, there's things that, I could have been working on yesterday that I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I don't really want to do that. And I give myself permission to leave that alone and work on something else. I give myself permission to change my mind. So it changes for me.
Excellent. That's good. Kathy Crowley 8. Success to me is how I will be remembered. I am known for my hugs.
Love it.
Good stuff. Di Schwartz Pro, I think, has this question for you, Eva-Laura. What factors change the definition of success? I don't know if that's just for Eva-Laura or for each one of you. What factors have changed your definition of success?
For me, the more I grow into who I am, the more that the clearer I become about who is Eva-Laura and why is Eva-Laura here, the clearer my definition of success becomes. And so a lot of times the way that I defined success before, again, it was not, that's why I call it super soul success. It might have been success for some people, but not success for me. So the clearer I become about me, the clearer my definition of success becomes. So to me, success is directly related to who you are, who you be.
Yes.
Before the ladies go on, Greg Inspired just dropped the knowledge bombs to say success is not how many people come to my funeral, but how many cry.
That's good. Definitely piggybacking with Eva-Laura. The more, for me, it's the same. The more I become who I'm here to be, the more, it becomes clear. Because when I was younger, as a single mom, success was being able to keep the lights on and put some food on the table, because that was the focus. So I think our focus determines our success at different stages. So to answer Di Schwartz Pearl's question, at different stages, we had different focal points. And so we were probably each successful at that time in that space. And so now we're all about purpose and becoming the who we are meant to be. So success, I think that's ultimate success. And I don't think that ever has a completion. Like you said, until we die. And even then,
like Danielle said, no, that's not enough. I could have done more.
Right.
Give me a few more days.
Danielle?
Well, I think my definition changed sometime around my college years, because I grew up where first success was get good grades, behave and get good grades, then you're successful. And then after that, it was get that degree and get a good job, then you're successful. And I made those steps, and I realized, like, this isn't success for me, and that doesn't look like success for me, and I'm not happy in this space. So I went to start redefining it for myself. And I did ruffle some feathers, didn't really make all the loved ones happy with some of my decisions, but I made it. And I found on the other side that what success for me is doing for young people what someone did for me. And so I just sit in that for the rest of my days. Yep.
Nice. I'm going to add on one more before we start winding it down. And Tiffany, you had mentioned the word purpose. And I know each one of you know your purpose, but just the life lesson of knowing your purpose. And if you can just share with the audience, when did you realize what your purpose is in life, or at least at this time? How did you, and can you remember the circumstances or what came up in your life to realize that this is my purpose, at least for this present time on earth? And it can always change, but how did you come to know what your purpose is at this time? Because I think that's a very important life lesson. Who wants to go first?
Okay, I'll go. So when I was in college, that was like the shifting point for me. I had in my childhood experienced rape, and I had experienced trauma and was dealing with all of that. And I was trying to find my voice and find healing in my voice. So I was speaking before a group of young people about how they could keep themselves safe from predators, and giving them some raw examples and being very transparent, sharing with them. And when I was on stage, I was shaking, like my body was physically shaking. And I was talking to them, and I was telling them, like, I'm nervous, but I'm supposed to be here, and I'm supposed to say this for some reason. So just bear with me as I get it through. And they were very encouraging to me. But I knew at the end, once I finished that conversation, that this was a part of me that I was supposed to tap into and stay there. And I didn't fully understand the importance of it until later in life, and experiencing almost dying, that it was clear that, Danielle, this is really what your purpose to do. You're really supposed to be sitting here helping these young people. No matter how you feel in the inside, this is what you need to be doing. And I started working to develop the skill set a little bit better. But I knew back then, I just didn't know it was going to evolve to things like Blab and being on this platform talking to y'all and speaking and sharing with all these different people, doing all these different things. But that's my story.
Good stuff. Who's next?
First of all, I'm going to say this is a great question, and I think that it could be its own
Thank
Blab.
You.
Because I'm listening to Danielle's story, and I'm like, we just scratched the surface with that one. And then I'm thinking of my own story, and I'm like, how can I say this in a condensed version? So this could very well be its own Blab.
And it will be. Don't worry, I'm already writing down the title.
For me, I can say that I don't remember everything, but I remember every stage of discovering who I am and why I'm here. Every stage of it, because it's been such an integral part of my life. And it was something that I was searching for even when I didn't know I was searching for it. So I remember every part of it. And I think that I became, very aware, even when I was applying for college and I had to pick a major. And at first I wasn't even really sure what to pick. And I was thinking, like, I don't even know what my talents are. Like, what am I good at? not even being very clear about that. And then finally deciding, okay, I'm going to major in psychology because I want to counsel people, because that's something that I do naturally. It's something that I've always done and didn't even know I did it. And then graduating from college thinking that, oh, I'm going to go get my master. I'm going to get my PhD in psychology, because at that time, my mother was like, well, the only way for you to counsel people, you have to get a PhD in psychology. And I was like, okay, no problem. No big deal. And what happened was I didn't get accepted to any of the PhD programs that I tried to get into. And that was a blow, because I had no backup. Because I was like, well, this is my purpose. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. How could I not get accepted into a program? And you're talking about a person, I mean, you talk about overachiever, perfectionist. Like, how you going to tell me, no, I didn't get accepted and I've done everything that you told me to do and I have graduated magna cum laude, la, la, la. Thank God. God delivered me from that. But what happened was that I needed that. I needed that to happen because I was so used to getting everything that I wanted. And then it redirected me, because I was going in a road that I didn't need to go. I didn't need to get a PhD. I didn't want a PhD. I just wanted to counsel people. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't need a PhD for that. So then it redirected me. Okay, I have to get a job. So experiencing that whole thing and understanding that I cannot work a 9-to-5. I am not a 9-to-5 chick. I needed that experience. This is not for me. I am slowly dying. I don't care about security. I don't care about a paycheck. I have to live life on my own terms. This is not going to work for me. So that was a valuable lesson. And then getting out of that and then going back to grad school into social work, and then feeling again like, okay, I thought this was the path, but now I'm realizing I'm still not helping people. I'm simply just helping people to maintain their dysfunction. If I really want to help people, I can't do it within the system, because the system is going to box me in and I cannot be boxed in. So all of these lessons along the way that I had to learn, and that was each a part of my purpose. And then finally getting out of that and opening up my own practice and starting, Ava Laura's Healing Center, where I did get to help people on my terms in the way that I knew was actually going to assist them in transforming their lives, and not simply just helping them put a Band-Aid on their problems and maintaining their dysfunction. And then even in that journey, there were more lessons along the way when I traveled to India, and then I finally met my spiritual teacher. And I mean, when I talk about layers and levels, really, and you could talk to me next year and I might have a piece of the puzzle that I didn't have right now today.
You will. That was absolutely beautiful, Ava Laura. And it's funny as I'm listening to this, of course, as we know, working with women and helping them discover purpose and pull out. For me, my story was different. I work with women, and a lot of times the purpose comes from a pain or from the trauma or for some things in life. And part of mine was I didn't have any bad stories to tell. I didn't have any, so I struggled. I was like, I don't have one of these stories to tell. And I didn't think that my voice was meant to be in the arena. But when I, about 7-8 years ago, started, my question was to God, why am I here? What am I doing here? Who are you? And who am I to you? And what was revealed is that whole life I had been living my purpose. I just had no clue. And like Ava Laura, I've always been an advisor. I was a 7th grade psychologist. Like, people have always come to me for wisdom, for truth, telling the truth. They know I'm going to tell you the truth always. And so coming into that, I could give you mile markers and breakstones from the last 7 years that were just quantum jumps. But in that process, I met a version of me that I had never met before. And I think that's one of the discoveries that comes when you're, however your journey looks. Because literally I was like, I don't know. In years I was numb because I was a single mom. I was surviving. I was, I had good jobs. I was just living in the routine, and then I got tired, and that's when I started asking the question, like, this can't be it. And as the doors opened up, the first time I started feeling fear and insecurity was when I started meeting this version of Tiffany that is purpose-filled, purpose-driven, and here to do something that I never imagined that I'm here to do. Because I think what I learned was I had a lot of personal self-confidence, because I've always been a person that people come to for answers. But when I started walking in purpose, I had no answers. And it shook me to my core. Like, there were no answers. I was like, how come I can't find an answer? How come I can't use my black magic and create stuff like I normally do? Right?
Girl, when I went to grad school, I was all of that.
Girl, it's like, you're like, I can't, why is my magic not working? And it was because in order to be in this lane, in order to be in this level of influence, in order to be a leader and to bring other women and men out into leadership, out into purpose, out into consciousness, the old version of us, of me specifically, had to go away. I had to understand that I didn't have any answers. They weren't mine. Yeah. And so that was I mean, I've been on my face more times than I can count in the past 2 years alone, where I sit in the puddle and be like, God, I'm quitting. I'm done. I don't want to do this no more. Leave me alone. I was cool sleeping. And then he's like, yeah, whatever. Shut up. Get up and keep on moving. Whatever. You know you ain't quitting. Right? I was cool. Like, right? So it's been a beautiful journey. But in this journey is where I discovered pain, because I literally didn't have pain traumatic pain or traumatic anything for me to tell. So now I discovered I got some stories for you now. I got plenty of stories.
You know what, Tiffany? I relate to that so much. And I want to speak to that because, yeah, I mean, so much of my life, like I said, college, that probably was like my first real disappointment when I didn't get accepted to grad school. And what you're saying is so valid, because I didn't have trauma either. I mean, I grew up in a, low, single, low middle class, but my parents weren't rich, but they found a way to make sure that we had everything that we needed. And it was always drilled into me, get an education, do this. And my parents, they did not let us suffer. They didn't. If we wanted something, they would find a way to get it to us. Now, they might say you got to work for it, but they would find a way to make sure that we got it. So I didn't even know what it was like to suffer. I really didn't. And even in college, you talking about somebody broke college students. I was not broke. I had a scholarship. I was getting like $2,000 in stipend money. I was eating at Cheesecake Factory. Like I was making more money than some people make working a job. Ballin'. So I didn't even know, really. I mean, real talk. I didn't know what it was really like to grind and hustle and study. Yeah, I studied. I did my work. Yeah, but I was not even living up to my potential. I never had to. Things came so easy for me. And I'm not saying that I didn't work, because I did, but it was natural for me. So that started the journey for me of knowing what is like how real people live. Like, ooh, this was like, this is what pain feels like. Ooh, I don't like this. And I'll never forget my mother, saying to me, now as an entrepreneur, I don't understand, Ava Laura, why are you living like this? You have a master's degree. Why don't you just get a job? We didn't raise you this way. Like, this is my mom. Like, why are you struggling? She couldn't understand, because I was like, Ma, I can't pay my bills. Like, I don't know what to do here. And she couldn't understand it. And I had to say to her, I said, Mom, if I am to teach people, really teach people how to live their best life, if I'm a leader and if I am helping people to transform their lives, to go from whole to wholeness in every part of their life, how can I know what that's like if I've never been in the hole? Yeah. Like, how can I do that if I've never suffered? If everything, I wanted something, I thought about it, and I just got it. Mm-hmm. I have to know
that is so much the truth.
I have to know what suffering feels like. So now when my clients come to me, oh, I know, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Please don't put me there no more. Like, I am done.
Girl, you took the words, like they just jumped out of my mouth into yours, because it's true. We have to have a level of understanding, one, to create a bond, but for authenticity. And I don't talk about anything that I don't know. And even what I've discovered, what's reawakened, is the fact that I'm empathic. And so I start feeling stuff on a whole different level. And I'm like, oh, no, we need to back that up. But I also understood I was allowed to feel that, because I didn't experience it, but I got the understanding of the feeling. And that's like, well, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, Ava. That's on a whole different level. But I've had experiences in the past couple of years that, case in point, when Robin Williams died. When Robin Williams died, I started feeling suicidal, what suicidal thoughts and suicidal feelings felt like. I knew very clearly they weren't my feelings, because I've never thought about harming myself. But in that instant, I felt the despair, the lack of support, the lack of love, just the sense of hopelessness that people are feeling that I'm coming in contact with. And I needed to feel that so I could relate. When I'm going, well, just pick yourself up and come on and do these things.
Yeah,
no,
because I know.
You can't. Exactly. It's just, getting into that thing. So I think just a whole level of understanding and feeling that we couldn't have accessed if we didn't open the door and say yes to what we're doing, could have been, exposed to us. I know for me personally, for sure.
Yeah. And that right there is another Blab Doctor vibe. I mean, oh my God, being able to live in this world and live in the spiritual world too. Good God.
I got my pen.
That's another Blab.
There you go.
Yes.
Because that right there. Yeah.
So being able.
Right. Just shake your head. That's all we do.
So being spiritual and living in today's world.
I mean, trying to balance both worlds. Having one foot in the spiritual world and one foot in the material world.
And it's a precarious balance, because after a while you have an understanding that sometimes it's hard to articulate without sounding cuckoo. So then, you find the words, or you find the way to express it so that people get it. But then, keeping grounded and understanding the purpose of it all.
See, but look, Kathy said, stay in the spiritual. That's what I do. But you can't, because you don't live in the spiritual world. You live right here on earth. And that is the problem. Oh, I would love to stay in the spiritual world. You can't do it. Like, I got to pay bills. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a monk living in a monastery. I get to meditate and pray all day and not worry about what's going on in the real world. I wish. She said, come hang with me.
So Kathy Crawley, is that saying that you're independently wealthy, girl? You can just
right.
I think that's what that said.
And if you want to help people, you have to live in the world that people live in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Independently joyous. I love that.
That's cute. I like that. But I just have one quick statement to what Eva Laura just said about, if you want to help people, you have to live in the world that people live in. I live in California, right? This is the land of the Zen and the Woo. But one thing that I realized from learning from living out here is that this is a very independent place. Everybody is working for their own level of Zen that has their own little Zen bubble. And it's cool to live in a Zen bubble. But if we're not able to translate that Zen to the people around us, to the surroundings around us, then it's actually a very selfish practice. Yoga is a great sport for one. And I'm not knocking it, because everything has its place. But to get a clear understanding, if I'm taking a spiritual practice and then telling you that you're not spiritual enough, or you're being spiritual in the wrong way, or I'm going to cuss you out because you're driving in the car in front of me. Exactly. All of those things. If we're not able to translate what we've learned into a way that's beneficial for the people around us, then basically we're existing in a fallacy.
Yeah. I think one of the greatest compliments that I got is when somebody said, "Hey, Laura, you spoke to what I felt in such a simplistic way that I got it." Because a lot of times when you're dealing with these things, especially spiritual matters, people just try to talk over your head, because they want to show how much they know. But for me, when you can break it down to its simplest terms where people get it, that is showing what you know. That is showing that you have mastered it. Not when you're all up in here and people are like, what the hell? What are you talking about?
What was that? The ethereal horrific of the universal what? What?
Wow. Well,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
We're gonna take over your show, Dr. Vibe.
No,
right. No, this right here.
I'm more good.
This right here, I want to be back. Ava Laura, I want to be back on here with this one with you, because it's a truth to it, is a weight to it. You look at, there are people who are awakened and really, really conscious of what's going on, but they have no way to relay it. So the rest of us are going to stay in the dark, because either one, you're too militant, two, you're too airy, three, you're just unattached and unrelatable. So now I have to stay in the dark because you can't translate your gift and your message to me. You can't tell your learning to me for me to be awakened and conscious as well. And that's something that, I strive to always be. I will give you the most simplistic terms for you to get it. I will talk to you. As a matter of fact, there's a book that I'm writing. I got to finish this year, but I'm talking about quantum thinking. I'm talking about consciousness, mindfulness, gratefulness, and gratitude. And I'm talking about it using toilet terms. Why? Because everybody gets going to the bathroom. Everybody can get that.
It's true.
Everybody knows how to go to the bathroom. So I don't need to talk to you in quantum speak, even though I can.
Well, remember though, one of my mentors told me, when you sort of do things, you get a mess. So when you sort of go to the bathroom, it becomes a mess. So just make sure you put that in your book too.
I will.
All right. I like Kathy Crowley, universal poo. That's good.
Y'all are hilarious.
Ladies, this has been another epic conversation. We're going to shut it down. I'd like to say, first of all, thanks to Ava Laura, Tiffany, Danielle for making it great. I'm going to have each one of you give closing thoughts and then your contact information. So, Ava Laura, thank you for taking time, because I know you always got so much going on, but
I don't even know why I'm here right now. I have so much to do. This is ridiculous. Like, really? I was not supposed to be on here. It is 11 o'clock. Oh,
I know, but any final thoughts, and then how people can contact you?
I think we've said enough. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it there. You can contact me. My website is avalaura.com. My first name, avalaura.com. I'm Googleicious, so you can find me everywhere. If you go to my website, you'll get all my contact information, so you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, Blab, rah, all of that. So yeah, just go to avalaura.com and connect with me.
Excellent. Tiffany, thanks again. Contact information.
Thank you.
And go ahead.
Tiffany Rochelle 1 on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook, Tiffany Rochelle. I have a private Facebook group, Unsung Woman. I'm on Periscope. I've been traveling around a lot, so sometimes I won't lie, my social media gets sketchy, but I'm always around. I'm always here. You can definitely find me on Facebook, because that's where I post the most.
Okay.
And I just thank you for having us. This is a great show.
Thank you so much. Like, when Ava Laura said, take over my blab, that's what I want you to do. I just steer the ship. I want you ladies to drive the ship. So that's part of my purpose, to provide the environment where people can share, care, and grow. Right? So that's what I do. And finally, for the last time for a while, Miss Danielle Boose. What is up? We're going to see you for a while, so I know it's going to be strong with what you're going to come with.
Well, I want to thank you for me co-host the show with you, Dr. Vibe. This is an epic experience. We went out with a bang.
Absolutely.
This show is definitely a good way for me to say farewell for a little while. But you'll see more.
She's you better tell Ava Laura. She needs to know.
I had the opportunity to connect with Becky Davis, actually.
Yes. It's your fault too, Ava Laura. We're blaming you.
Weekend, and we're gonna adjust some things. So I got to get laser focused to next level myself, and we're definitely have some things in the work for me in the future. So I had to take some stuff off my plate so that I can reach more people and serve more people. So this will be my final show for a little while. I'll be popping in when I can, but you probably won't see much of me for a while. Yeah, but
I'm glad. So maybe that's why I came on. See.
Thanks. Yep. Appreciate it, Kathy. And
how can people contact you?
You can reach out to me. I'm on social media by my name. There's going to be some shaking up and some adjusting. But right now you can follow me. I won't forget you, Greg. You can follow me by searching my name, basically, Danielle Boose. That's where I'll be. Yeah.
So many things to share about. So I'll make it as tight and concise as I can. For people who want to touch base with me, I'm at DRVIBESHOW. Email address dr. Look, what are you laughing at, Ava Laura? You're laughing about.
I'm sorry, Kim is over here quoting Color Purple, and that just got me.
Right.
And you can email me dr. at the drvibeshow.com. Stuff coming out tomorrow night. I'll be holding the same conversation for men. So the men are going to jump on and tell us what life lessons they haven't learned. Also, that's at 8:30 tomorrow night. At 6 p.m. tomorrow night, I'm having on the show for her second time V. Cherie Williams, who is the publisher of Cuisine Noir magazine, which is the only online publication dedicated to African Americans in food, wine, and travel. And she has some major announcements to give on the conversation tomorrow night. I also write for the publication now, and I also am one of their brand ambassadors, the only international brand ambassador for the Cuisine Noir. Also, I'm giving a presentation for the Ontario Black History Society on Thursday, and then on June 2nd, I'm doing a presentation for the National Rites of Passage Conference in Toronto. So that is some of the stuff coming up. Wow. Danielle, we are going to truly miss you, but thank you for making our lives better. And as much as I can speak for myself, I can't speak for others. As much as you say we've positively helped your life, you have impacted mine many more fold.
Thank you.
Thank you for your transparency. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you even for the tears that you shed, because there were tears that we all caught.
Thank you.
I want to say nothing but blessings to you and your daughter and the rest of your family. You're incredible.
Thank you.
And I'm so pleased to see where you came from to where you're at. And like I said, I'm going to be one of those people say, I knew you when. And I'm going to say that in a good way. And thanks for stretching a lot of us too, because you're such an overcomer and we're very proud of you and we love you and we're always here for you.
Thank you.
So just as we say down home, yard by yard, too hard, inch by inch is a cinch. So it's very nice to hear where you're going to. And it's nice to see that, you know, it's like family. A guest on Eva Laura's program is now taking you to the next level. Mm-hmm. And that's what that's what the family's all about. And I consider the ladies on here family. There's some other people here.
Were you introduced to her from our show, or did you know about her before?
I was introduced on your show. I didn't know anything.
Thank you.
And when I first connected with her, I was like, because, you know, we always have a lot of people who say they know how to do stuff. But I was just watching her. And when I connected with her, she said she looked at my stuff and she saw some things I was doing, and she invited me to Atlanta this past weekend, and it just was life-changing, the whole experience with her. And she said,
there's a testimonial when the hearts are right, you see the magic that happens.
Yeah. Connect my little red wagon to a moving train. So I'm working to get my wagon all together so I can connect.
Awesome. I love it.
It's a great testimonial for what her and Fitz are doing. And also to something just escaped my mind, unfortunately. Yeah, but just a great testimonial on what Ava Laura and Fitz are doing, how they're positively changing people's lives. They are positively changing people's lives. And that's what it's all about. So I tip I don't have one, but I tip my bald crown to you, Ava Laura, to you and Fitz for all that you're doing. And can you do a favor and tell us who's on your show tomorrow night and how people can?
Okay, so tomorrow night, y'all. Tomorrow night, if y'all don't know this woman, you're gonna be like, how did I not know about this woman? She is the founder of E-Woman Network, which is one of the largest women organizations around networking, entrepreneurship. I mean, it's huge. Sandra Yancey. And she has an amazing story, built it from the ground up. She's like a multimillionaire now. It's ridiculous. But she started out with nothing. So she is a true bootstrap to booming story. And we're going to be at PNC this week. So starting Thursday, we will be broadcasting live from the Power Networking Conference. So definitely make sure that you're following me. We're going to be on at sporadic times just because it's when we can get people. So just make sure that you're following me and you'll be notified when we're live.
That's fantastic. And that's how much I care about Ava Laura and Fitz. She didn't mention what she was doing this week. I wanted to make a point that that people knew what they were doing, because what they're doing is good and it is helpful. Testimonial Danielle. Yeah. And it's the same way I probably will be broadcasting at the National Rites of Passage Conference. And I have a unique challenge. I've never been asked to do this before. I'm going to be with 20 young people. We have to create a social movement and launch it online in 90 minutes.
Whoa.
So I'm looking forward to this challenge. And as much as possible, if I can't get it broadcast video wise, I will audio record the event and you can hear how we're going to get a social challenge and launch it online in 90 minutes. So thank you so much. I want to say my thank yous to everyone who stayed on for a long part of the conversation. Of course, Kathy Crowley. Not going to go there. Kathy Crowley. Greg Inspires. I'll be chatting with you between now and Wednesday, Big Dreamer. And hopefully you can come for the conversation tomorrow night where the men are on. Of course, Durham Skywriter, thanks for being there from the beginning. All the way from Tokyo, Candy Javier 26, who's helping me with getting someone on the show, and Tasami _Nguyen. I would like to just say, as always, you're blessed and highly favored. You're a magnet for miracles and your solution for someone's problem. Just make sure you follow these ladies, not only on Blab, but follow them on Twitter also. And try out the Busker app. I'm going to leave it at that. God bless, peace be well, and keep the faith. Good night.